I hope you guys know that me doing this is taking a lot of balls. In the last video that we did about animals, I asked you guys if I should do a video on spiders. And you guys, yeah. Sometimes you gotta jump into the deep end to learn how to swim, if you catch my drift. Today we're gonna be checking out the most venomous spiders in the United States of America. I might just poo my pants. So the least you could do, guys, like a little tap on the shoulder, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and pray.
There are 4,000 species of spider in the US alone. Nearly all of them are venomous, but a bite wouldn't be much worse than a bee sting. However, there are a
And take my
few
feet off the ground.
spiders, some
Take my feet
you
off the
may
ground.
have,
I can't.
Others you probably haven't, that are the most toxic among North American arachnids. Here are 5 of the most dangerous spiders in the US. If it's venomous spiders we want, one of the best places to start is the wildest state in the country.
He better be wearing
Florida.
thick boots.
Known for its menagerie of deadly creatures, the spiders here are
Oh god, like look at that. That is from Satan. It's from the devil, bro. My guy's wearing shoes with no socks. I don't believe this guy, man. I would be wearing 3 pairs of boots.
on the forest floors all across the state, where it hunts all sorts of invertebrates.
Stop saying hunt.
Of nightfall. It's unlikely you'll ever come across it, but if you flip the right log, you may come face to face with a potentially toxic spider.
He's not even wearing gloves,
spider right
bro.
here is something extremely special. This is the Florida wandering spider.
Oh yeah, so you just put it on your hand then? The most venomous spiders in the US, and this mental bastard has got one on his hand.
Wandering spiders are part of the family Tenidae, distant evolutionary cousins of wolf spiders. They're smart, calculated killers, equipped with some of the most potent neurotoxins.
What do you mean
in the world.
equipped?
The best way to recognize them is the square-like arrangement of eyes in the center of their face, unlike the 2 large eyes of wolf spiders in the
Like, hold on a minute. Hold on. Sorry for pausing. This motherfucker got 6 eyes. What the hell is the 4 bottom ones for?
tropics. The wandering spiders from the Phenutria group
Look at the size of that.
known man
No,
killers
bro.
and are a contender for the title of the world's most lethal arachnid. Despite their toxic nature, wandering spiders are actually really shy. And unlike a lot of other spiders I've worked with, they really hate the light. Like, they actively
My guy just said, unlike some of the other spiders I've worked with.
almost like a cockroach would. And as a result, they're almost never seen during the daytime. The remote habitats they
I don't
call
understand.
home
Is that
mean
not-
bites really don't happen. So only a few reports exist about their effects on humans, but they're said to cause flu-like symptoms for several days. More research on these spiders may reveal
Maybe
they're
put it
hiding
down then?
even more dangerous secrets, but conventional wisdom is to treat any sizable wandering spiders as if they were medically significant. For now, the Florida wandering spider stays at a rank of 5, but it's definitely a spider to be aware of. As we venture deeper into the world of extremely venomous spiders, we stay in the wilderness of central Florida, but our attention shifts to the sandy palmetto scrubs and a brilliantly colored creature with an amazing toxic power. Oftentimes in nature, we'll actually see animals that have really bright coloration because it gives them no camouflage.
I don't understand how you can look at that and want to be in a 3-mile radius of the thing. If I seen that in real life, I'm away. See you later.
That striking color actually serves as a warning to potential predators that, hey, I might be very dangerously venomous.
Because that means there's
If
probably
you mess
more
with
around.
me, you're gonna regret it. And in the scrub habitats of central and southern Florida, there's a spider that fits that exact description.
It's got little hearts and all on them, bro. You see what I mean? They fool you.
In the case of the red widow, it is definitely dangerously venomous. And if you mess with it, you might just regret it. As its name
What does
suggests,
that mean?
the red widow is a cousin
What
of
do you
the
mean, mess
infamous
with it?
black widow, and possibly one of the rarest widow spiders in the world. Found only in scrub habitats in central and southern Florida, not a lot is known about them due to how infrequently they're seen by people. But this spider is one of the most venomous in the nation. Like all widow spiders, the red widow possesses a potent neurotoxin used to short-circuit the nervous system.
Fucking like them legs.
Prey. They nest inside saw palmettos exposed to open fly-through zones, using their gnarled, tangled web to ensnare flying insects that are zipping by. It's also the way scientists like
Bastards.
me are able to find them. Oh, there's a web. Where are you?
He better not start poking that, man. He's gonna get caught in that web. He's gonna...
That's a widow! This is the second location I've ever seen these incredible spiders. Let me get her out so we can take a better look at her.
Don't let her sleep.
Know about this spider, and that's mostly because they're so rare and found in such remote areas. In fact, there aren't actually any bites in the medical record because it's not your average Joe who's getting bitten by this spider in their house. It's hobbyists who keep them as pets and researchers like me who are actually out in the field studying and sampling them. Because there's so few reports, there's a lot of stories out there about what this spider can do, most of which are anecdotal, though a few have actually come from actual researchers who have had extremely adverse effects. And the biggest and most notorious story about the red widow is that if you are bitten, you will have chronic symptoms that last the rest of your life, which sounds pretty serious considering it's a tiny little spider that lives in palmettos. And interestingly enough, I'm actually one of the few people in the world who can actually say they've been bitten by the red widow. The initial bite was a faint stinging sensation, which is typical of widows.
See what I mean? Like, why? He just said don't mess with it, and here he is playing with it on a fucking stick, then got bit. Play with fire. You will get burned.
Oftentimes, you don't even know you've been bitten, but it's not the initial bite that's a problem, it's what follows. 30 minutes in, I began, in some cases...
Bro, yo, that's not a 3 out of 10, bro. That's an 8, surely.
In some cases, widow bites have been described to be debilitating, and the thing is, because of the nature of the toxin, no over-the-counter pain meds is actually going to touch it. So, these are spiders to take very, very seriously. With such a fearsome reputation, the red widow would definitely be higher on this list if it were more common. But even people who live in their range can go their entire lives without even knowing this spider exists.
I would go my entire life without even looking at one.
So it earns its place at number 4. Now as we're climbing the list here, I'm sure I have some city-dwelling audience members who are kind of sighing a sigh of relief because all of the crazy spiders we've seen so far are all way out in rural areas. Well, I'm here to tell you that just because you're not living in a rural area doesn't mean you're safe from really venomous spiders.
Oh shit, here we go.
Right here is a brown widow spider.
Man's holding it again. Man has got it on his fingers again.
Area you could possibly imagine awesome little spiders are actually living. The brown widow is a very interesting spider. Pretty much only lives in urban areas due to the fact that it's actually invasive. It was brought here most likely due to the plant trade. We're not entirely sure where they came from. Most signs point to South Africa, but we can confirm that the brown widow is definitely
far away from me
species in many cities across
I'm
the
happy
world,
with that.
building its tangled web in forgotten corners. The telltale sign the brown widow is around are its iconic spiky egg sacs, and they build a lot of them. Unlike other widow spiders, it's pretty unassuming. Actually looks kind of like any old run-of-the-mill house spider or cobweb spider with its drab brown coloration, until you flip it over and see that bright orange hourglass on its underside. Unassuming or not, these guys are no joke.
Fuck you up.
It may not be as striking as the red or black widows, but this is not a spider to take lightly. Native or not, it might be the most toxic spider in North America.
So why are you holding it on your thumb?
We actually have a way to measure that, and that's in lethal doses, or LD50, where the lower the number, the more toxic the venom. To put it in perspective, most of the venomous snakes here in the US are between 10 and 1. But where does the brown widow fall? The brown widow actually has a lethal dose less than 1. Drop for drop, this spider's venom is more potent than all but just a few of the venomous snakes we have here. But it's very possible that you haven't even heard of this spider before. So if it's so toxic, why is nobody dying from it or talking about it at all? And that's because when it comes to venomous bites, the dosage makes the poison. The amount of venom oftentimes matters a lot more than the toxicity. A western diamondback is a lot less toxic than a brown widow. It has so many more times the dosage of venom that a bite from that snake.
That's an evil bastard. They're evil fuckers as well, them snakes. Look at that thing, bro.
Whereas the brown widow has so little venom that even when bites occur, it's actually considered to be one of the less serious widow bites in the world. With neurotoxic venom, it's a little bit easier to see the relationship between toxicity and dosage. But not all spiders rely on paralyzing their prey in the same way that widows do. One of the most feared spiders in the US and across the world takes a different approach.
God,
and
look at that.
perhaps the most unsettling.
Look at
Now,
that.
this might be the most feared
That
spider
looks like an alien,
in the
bro.
US and North America. What I've got right here is a brown recluse spider. As you know, I
hate it.
love talking about
I
venom.
hate
It's
it.
so cool. And the thing is, different venoms work differently. Most spiders, including all the spiders we've discussed so far, tend to have a venom that's a lot more neurotoxic. It's going to be attacking the nerves of the animals that it bites.
It would
In
see the
cases
end of my
severe
shoe if that ran
neurotoxins,
at
they
me.
actually shut down the central nervous system of their victims. A lot of the snakes here in the US use a different kind of venom, known as a hemotoxin, which is going to be attacking the blood cells of their prey and the blood cells of their predators if they bite, say, a human. Both of these are actually fairly easy to treat with antivenom if they're addressed soon enough. It's the third kind of venom that we see in North American venomous wildlife that is a bit harder to treat, and that is a cytotoxin. Cytotoxins are
Look at that,
basically
bro.
just
Look, no.
anti-cell, where they're not super picky about what kind of cells they're targeting. It's the same reason why we see such severe effects with like staph infections, because staph bacteria actually use a cytotoxin to break down all of the tissue that it comes in contact with. Recluse spiders, believe it or not, actually employ the exact same enzyme that staph bacteria use to dissolve the insides of their prey, and in very severe cases can cause necrosis in humans. Due to how weird cytotoxins are, we actually don't have an antivenom for recluse bites, which makes some of their more potent
Jesus!
tropical cousins very, very serious bites.
You're
Believe it or
fucked.
not, North America is home to at least 9 known species of
Look at-
brown
like,
recluse.
why is it glowing,
All of
bro?
them have this cytotoxic venom, but for whatever reason, it doesn't seem as active against humans as some of their tropical cousins. Despite many anecdotal reports, there are no confirmed cases in the US where a human was killed by any of our brown recluse spiders, though in extremely rare cases, bites can cause very serious necrotic lesions. The real danger with the recluse spiders here in the US is not their venom, but how common they are and the types of places they tend to hide. Normally we talk about
I've noticed that the most venomous ones aren't necessarily about that big. That's kind of a shock to me, because I thought if they're bigger, they're hitting you with more, so they do more damage.
Inside your house, but I actually want to talk about where you'd find them
Maybe.
in the wild, so we can kind of understand their behavior a little bit better. Right here behind me, I've got a dead tree, and brown recluses actually really like this kind of habitat. They're going to be hiding inside that bark, dead trees and fallen logs, and sometimes even underneath rocks. In your house is a lot like the habitats that they'd be hiding in the wild. So if you live in brown recluse territory, cardboard is a place you really want to be careful around. That being said, in North America, less than 1 in like 2,000 even have any necrosis happen at all, and even fewer than that ever have anything that's going to be extremely serious. Why this happens, we're not totally sure, but just conquered most of the continental United States, the most dangerous spider in the country, and perhaps the most iconic venomous spider
Oh my
in the
god,
world.
look at the fat ass on. That is horrifying. Nah. No, I hate that one. I don't, no.
Black Widow. Something you probably didn't know is that here in the US, Black Widow actually refers to 3 different species. We have the northern, the southern, and the western black widow. And all
They can
of
all
them
fuck
are
off.
extremely neurotoxic.
All 3 of them.
Right there, you can already see on her abdomen that bright red hourglass, the famous mark of the Black Widow. Now, it's long been said that that hourglass tells you if you're bitten by this spider, you only have an hour to live, which is not entirely true. In fact, unless you are literally on your deathbed and an hour away from death, if you're bitten by this spider, you certainly have more than an hour to live. Because, believe it or not, this spider is actually not that deadly. So, what does that hourglass actually mean?
Like all the other spiders in this list, the Black Widow likes to hide in forgotten corners where it's dark and dry. They build these gnarly webs that act as shelter and a tool for securing food. Widow spiders, like other web builders, actually use their web as an extension of their nervous system, with each sticky strand serving as a messenger to the spider. She sits upside down in her web, her large abdomen weighing her down. This is where the hourglass comes in. If a predator were to disturb her home, they'll immediately see the bright red patch sticking out against her jet black body, and they'll think twice about disturbing the spider any further. So while the hourglass doesn't spell a countdown to doom, it certainly does serve as a warning to stay away.
It's like a countdown to I kick your ass is what it means.
At the end of the day, none of the spiders on this list have killed anyone in recent history. You know, I chose the title of this video for a reason. Yeah.
I don't care if spiders weren't venom. It's just them in general. It scared the shit out of me. Like, I imagine lying in bed at night and one just runs up your ass. What are you gonna do then? What are you gonna do? You're gonna do nothing, and that's gonna be inside you laying babies and doing whatever it wants, eating you. You know? Anyway, this has been horrendous. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Goodbye.